Hello students, good morning. Today we discuss the last definition and very important definition of probability. What is that? Axiomatic definition of probability. So earlier what we had discussed, the first one is a classical definition. The second one is a statistical definition. The third one, what we are going to discuss now, is axiomatic definition of the probability. Axiomatic definition of the probability is defined in terms of three axioms. That is axiom 1. The axiom 1 is also known as the axiom of positivity. Positivity. The second axiom, what do you call this? Certainty. The axiom of certainty. Third axiom, which is also known as axiom of unity. Axiom of unity. So axiomatic definition is based upon three axioms. So you need to write these three axioms, then only it will be considered as the axiomatic definition of the probability. So according to the axiom 1, always the probability of any event lies between two numbers. You know very well what is that? Between 0 and 1. So as you all know very well, according to mathematics, the number whichever falls between 0 to 1 is positive. What to call this? This is known as the axiom of positivity. So any event probability always lies between 0 to 1. Suppose 0.18, where it lies between 0 1. 0.91, where it lies between 0 1. So all those values will be considered as correct answers, but also what is that property? They should follow positivity. The second axiom of the axiomatic definition is certainty. Always the probability of the sample space is equal to 1. That's why actually in the previous video we discussed what is a sample space. Totality of all possible outcomes of a random experiment are known as the sample space. So when you are going to apply the probability concepts, first of all you identify what is a sample space. So in the sample space, what are all possibilities are there? If you calculate all possibilities totals, that is exactly equal to 1. What to call this? The axiom 2 or the axiom of certainty. The third one, a little bit tricky one. So what to call this? Axiom of unity. If A comma B are any two events which are mutually exclusive. Already we discussed what are mutually exclusive events. Mutually exclusive events are those events in which only one of the events takes place at any time. So head and tails are there. When you flip the coin, either head turns up or tail turns up. Both cannot be possible. Hence, head and tail are known as mutually exclusive to each other. All 6 sides of a dice. As you all know, when you rolls the dice, any one of the number will come up, either 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 6. But it's never possible to come up 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 like that. 2 results or 3 results may not turn up. Hence, all the sides of the dice are known as a mutually exclusive. Such a way, if A and B are any two mutually exclusive events, then the happening of A or B, as you know, according to the set theory, how to represent that? Probability of or represented by union. What is the symbol here? Union. So what is that? One more symbol is there, intersection. So intersection means what? And set theory. 8th class, I think in the 8th class you got these symbols and its meaning. Now here, union, U stands for or. So what do you mean by that? Probability of A union B is equal to nothing but simply the sum of the individual probabilities. Probability of A plus probability of B. So what do you call this? This axiom is known as axiom of unity. So clubbing individual probabilities. When this is possible? When the events A comma B are mutually exclusive to each other. This is very, very important condition. What is the one more name for mutual exclusive events? This is also known as disjoint events. One more name for mutual exclusive events is disjoint events. Such a way, these axiomatic definition has been defined. So axiomatic definition is based upon three axioms. Axiom 1, axiom 2, axiom 3. Axiom 1 is known as positivity or positivity axiom. Axiom 2, what is that one more name? Axiom of certainty. Axiom 3 is also known as axiom of unity. You will be wondering what do you mean by axiom actually. The true English meaning of axiom is nothing but universal truths. Those truths we need not to prove. Understand? We assume that they are true only. Understand? Such a kind of universal truths are known as axioms. Best example is always sun rises in the east. You know very well the direction whichever sun rises you are calling that one as the east. And we defined as always sun rises in the east. That's a universal truth. When you are feeling thirsty you need to drink the water generally. It's universal truth. So to quench your thirsty you need to drink the water. Every creature dies. This is also universal truths. Such a way, in the probability, these three universal truths are there. Each universal truth is known as the axiom. So this axiomatic definition actually defined by a famous Russian statistician, Kolmogorov. What is his name? Kolmogorov. So he actually defined this axiomatic definition in terms of three axioms. One is always the probability of any event lies between 0 and 1. We already proved this one under classical definition. Always the probability of sample space is equal to 1. You know very well a sample space means where you find all possible outcomes. When a die thrown far, let us suppose that 2 times. So die how many sides will have? 6 sides. How many times you are throwing? 2 times. So how many possibilities you will get? 6 into 6, 36 outcomes. All these 36 outcomes are known as all possibilities, that's all. Beyond that no other option would be there. The set of all those possibilities are known as sample space. If you club all the probabilities of each and every outcome of the probability, then it becomes what you call 1. So axiomatic definition of 3 universal truths. One is universal truth of positivity, universal truth of certainty, universal truth of unity in probability theory. So technically what do you call this? Axiom 1, axiom 2, axiom 3. Is that clear? So these are 3 very, very important definitions. But as far as application is concerned, we are applying only that first definition. What is that classical definition of the probability? So how do you write that ratio? Probability of A is equal to M by N, where M is nothing but all favorable number of events for the happening of A, where N is all total number of events for where actually the possibility of A is available. Understand? So you need to understand, you need to by heart these definitions. Okay? Now we are going to understand how actually apply this classical definition. Understand? As you all know that to apply the classical definition, you need to calculate M and N value. What is M? M is nothing but favorable number of events or cases or outcomes. So different names or results, different names, all are same only. Same way, what do you mean by N here? The N here is nothing but the total number of events or cases or outcomes or results. That means to calculate the probability of any event, before that you need to calculate the M value and N value. Understand? Then how do you get M and N value? Generally based upon the situation, we are going to calculate the M and N value, but most frequently, more often, you are going to use what you called very important mathematical tools, which are nothing but permutations and combinations. Permutations and combinations. So you already know this definition, but still I am introducing you because gap has come. Okay, might be learned these permutations, combinations in the intermediate. Mathematical background means no problem, because many of you from non-mathematical background. Hence I thought of to introduce one more time. What do you know? Permutations and combinations. Permutations, one more general name is nothing but arrangements. And combinations, nothing but selections. You need to understand the difference between permutations and combinations. Then only within the problem you can understand whether to apply permutations or combinations technique. I'll give you a simple example. In a shop, generally whoever you find owner, okay, under that salesman you find, okay, and customer will go to purchase. You leave the owner part. What the salesman actually doing whenever all items are available, let us suppose that all soap bars are there. He will be putting all the soap bars in a proper order. Different company soaps, isn't it? What do you call these arrangements? But as a customer, when you go and ask, let us suppose you want some what you called Lux soap. So you will pick one soap from here and he will give it to you. You want one what you called Rin soap. He is going to pick one more soap and he is going to give it to you. So here the activity whatever you are going to perform as a customer is nothing but selection. So this is very important. Difference I want to make you clear. But whatever the activities performed by salesmen are arrangements, are the permutations. But here the customer, what are the things you required? Combinations are the selections. So in the permutation, the things will be as it is. Only thing is what order is going to change. A repetition is also possible. But whereas in the combinations, you are picking whatever you want. One time selection would be there, understand? Hence, there is no repetition at all. So this is what actually the general meaning of the permutations and combinations. Then how do we define permutations? If n dissimilar objects are there, out of which r arrangements you need to do, what do you call that? Permutations, NPR. How do you write NPR? So making r arrangements from n dissimilar objects. How do you represent NPR? N permutations of R. Okay. Then what is the formula of this? N factorial by n minus R factorial. So this is called permutations formula. N minus R factorial, small letter r. Same out of n dissimilar objects, if you want to go for R selections, what we call these combinations, NCR. Then how to get the NCR? N factorial by R factorial into n minus R factorial. So this is the formula. So this formula you need to remember. 8th class, 9th class formula, these are all. NCR, NPR formula. What is NPR? Permutation. NPR is equal to n factorial n minus R factorial. NCR is equal to n factorial by R factorial into n minus R factorial. Then actually how to write the n factorial? This is very, very important. Nothing but the product of all the numbers. That is n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into dash 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 into last number is 1. From that number to till the 1. All integers. Let us suppose that you want to calculate 3 factorial. How to write 3 into 2 into 1. Same way 4 factorial. How do you get 4 into 3 into 2 into 1? That's all. This is called how to get the factorial. Okay. So I introduced today what is that permutations, combinations. NPR, n factorial by n minus R factorial. NCR, n factorial by R factorial into n minus R factorial. Actually n factorial means what? Product of all integers up to the given n value. Okay. Now, and also we discussed about the axiomatic definition. You need to by heart this. Okay. Now we go for a few applications of the classical definition of the probability. Now we are going to solve the first model under probability. What is that? Coin type of problems. I already told you in the probability theory, most of the problems are connected to 4 experiments, basic experiments we call them, like coin tossing, die throwing, selection of a card from a pack of cards, and selection of a color ball from bowl of balls. This information, what happens, generalized and will be what you call connected to the real time experiments also. First of all, to create idea, the most of the probability problems connected to these basic 4 experiments. Now we are going to solve this problem. What is that? When a symmetric coin tossed 3 times, find the probability that heads occurs exactly 2 times. Next one. Tails occurs at least once. At least once. Remember that one more word is there, at most. These are both confusing. At least means minimum way. Minimum way. At most means maximum way. Okay. Now here what is the meaning of that? Minimum to minimum, how many tiles should occur? One tile. In few problems, in upcoming problems, we have using this word also, at most. At most means maximum. So you need to understand the meaning of at least and as well as the utmost. Okay. Now I already told you, to solve any probability problem, what is required? You should create the sample space. Okay. But here the problem is, will it be possible to create the sample space for every problem? A big no. Because most of the times the sample space you need to imagine what to call yourself in the mind. Because in general the sample space creation for every situation is not possible. So all the alternatives you need to jot down in the mind. You need to pick whatever alternatives are required to the solution. But whenever possibility is there to write the sample space, better to write that. But here the problem is of related to coin, symmetric coin. How many times it was tossed? 3 times. So I already told you, when a coin is tossed for 3 times, what is the general formula? Now we are going to solve this problem. Okay. The general formula for this is nothing but n power r, where n is nothing but the number of sides, where r is nothing but the number of times the coin has been repeated or tossed. Understand? Now as you know very well, for every coin how many sides would be there? 2 sides. And how many times you are repeating? 3 times. So what is the outcome is going to be 2 into 2 into 2. Nothing but 8. So what is this? This 8 number represents that. So when you conduct this experiment, total possibilities are going to be 8 only. So beyond this 8, there will not be any kind of option. You need to stick to that point first. Strictly speaking, what is the size of the sample space? I already discussed you, n of s. Then how to write actually the sample space? Now we are going to write the sample space also. So how do we represent the sample space? By means of capital S. Okay, that is equal to. So here what I am doing, I am using one particular pattern. This pattern suits only for this experiment. Okay. Now here what I write here, instead of horizontally I write vertically. 4 H's for that is H, tail, 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 tail. Okay. In the second column what I write, 2 to H, 2 to tails. So H, tail, tail, H, tail, tail. In the third column, what I write? Alternatively, a H and a tail. So H, tail, H, tail, H, tail, H, tail. So this is called the actual sample space. How to read actually? You need to read horizontally. So if 3 times coin has been tossed, first time you may get head, second time also you may get head, third time also possibility of getting head. Like here, what is the meaning of that? First time you got head, second time head, third time tail. So here what is this option says you? First time tail, third time tail, and also second time also tail and third time also tail. Now you got the sample space. That's all. Once if you have the sample space, whatever answer you require, easily you can get. But the thing is, creation of the sample space is very, very important. For every problem, writing down the sample space is very, very difficult. You need to underline that. Wherever possibility is there, for those problems, we create the sample space. For other problems, you imagine the sample space in the mind itself. Understand? Now we go for answering the first bit A. So what is that? Heads occurs. Okay. Heads occurs exactly 2 times. Heads occurs exactly 2 times. So this is the question. Okay. Remember that the probability answer requires only 3 steps. What are those 3 steps? First, you need to identify what is m value, what is n value, and next you calculate what is that, what you mean by m by n. So what you call the probability of A. That's all. 1 step, 2nd step, 3rd step. But in order to get full out of full marks, these steps are very, very important. What is the steps? So here you need to follow one procedure. So in every problem you need to name the result by using a separate sign, separate symbol. So what is the result here? Getting heads. For this we are naming by using a English higher case alphabet. What is that? A. That's why here what is that name I am giving? Assume. Okay. Required event means result as capital A. That's all. We have named that. So without names, let us imagine our life. It's very difficult. So in order to recognize ourselves, we require names. Same here also, in the probability theory, we give names for the results, wanted answers. So what is the name we have given here? Capital A. Now next we go for to identify the m value. What is the m value here? Favorable number of events. Favorable number of events for happening of A, that we are going to represent by means of small m. Be careful. Now what is the favorable number of events? So here we need to get exactly 2 heads. In all these 8 possibilities, whatever option is having exactly 2 heads, those are all going to be considered. That is going to be the m value. Now let us see the sample space here. Now if you see the sample space, where you find exactly 2 heads? 1, 2, 3. No. We don't want 3 heads. We want only 2 heads. So this option will not be considered. Now again, what are the other options where you got exactly 2 heads? Yes. 1, 2 heads. 1, 2 heads. Yes. But only single head? Yes. 1, 2 heads. 1 head, 1 head, 1 head. So how many options are there? 1, 2, 3 options are there where you have exactly 2 heads. From these 3 options you need to select one. Selection. Selection means what here? Combinations. How to write the combinations of n dissimilar things? NCR. Understand? So by using that formula, what is the n value here? 3 options are there. From those 3 options, you need to pick one option. So how do you write that combination? 3C1. 3C1 is equal to 3, we know. But you should understand the logic behind that. Okay? Simplification is next thing, but understand the concept. Now we calculated the m information. Now what is the next information? N. What is the name for that n? Total number of events. Okay? Total number of events. For happening what? A. What is A here? Exactly 2 heads. So how do you represent that one? N. That is equal to. So to get A, how many all possibilities we wrote here? Size of the sample space. 1, 2, 3. So how many options are there? 8 options are there. From these 8, it may be one of the possibility. It may be one of the possibility, any one of the selection. Again, the selection means how do you write here? Out of 8 possibilities, you need to select one option, 8C1. That's all. Now we got the M value, N value. Now next very very important step. This implies therefore required probability. Required probability. How do you reference? That is equal to probability of, we named that event by A. That is probability of A we required. So what is the formula? Classical definition we are applying here. M by N. So what is the M value got here? 3C1 by 8C1. Now you can go for simplification. So what is the further simplification here you get? So 3C1 is nothing but 3. That is the standard formula in the combinations. NC1 is always N. Same way 8C1 becomes what you called 8. That is equal to, what is the answer form? P by Q form. The probability answer can be expressed in 3 forms. One is P by Q form, one more is decimal form. The very very important form, especially the MBA people, is what? Percentage form. So 3 by 8. So how do you convert? Divide with 8. So what do you get here? 0.375. Or else by multiplying with 100, what do you get here? 37.5%. That's all. See, what is the comment here? Comment for this. Only 37.5% or so 37.5 means you can add one value to the non-decimal part. So what you get here? Approximately 38% chance is there to get exactly what? 2 heads. Probability or else chance or else likelihoods exists to get exactly 2 heads. Exactly 2 heads. This is how to do the problem. Is that clear? So first you need to find out the sample space. Next you need to name the event, find out M and N values and calculate the probability and give the comment. For this full marks you will be awarded. Every step we provided now. But in the competitive exams, what is required? We required only answer. That's why M and N and M by N value you derive from the given problem. Is that clear? Now we go for the next problem. So what is the next problem? B. Tails occurs at least once. At least means minimum one time. So for this, what is the name I have provided here? B. For previous, capital A. What is that? Capital A. But here the name provided to you is B. Then for which the favorable number of events or cases, small m. Now go back to the sample space. Now tell me where you have at least one tail. Yes. First option. There are no tails. So not eligible. The second option. Yes, one tail is there, one tail is there, one tail is there, one tail is there, one tail, two tail, three tail. Only first option is not eligible. Remaining in all other outcomes, what is there? At least one tail exists. So how many options are there? 7 options are there. From these 7, you need to pick one. How do you put? Pick means selection, combinations. You write 7C1. So total number of events. This is fixed because all these possibilities belongs to the sample space only. But in the sample space, how many options are there? 8. From 8, any one of the option. Hence, how do you write 8C1? Then what is the required probability is going to be? Probability of B is equal to M by N. Favorable number of events by total number of events. 7C1 by 8C1. 7 by 8. This is P by Q form. This is decimal form. This is percentage form. Now what is the comment here? So 87.5, approximately 88% chance is there to get at least one tail. Now if you think, if you compare with that of the previous answer, for previous answer only 38% approximately, but here 88%. So which option is having more chance? The second option. So which is nothing but what you called having at least one tail in the selection of the, I mean to say when you toss the coin. Okay. So this is called one of the model under coin tossing problems. So what I told you again, please imagine the experiment in the mind. Then only you will understand the probability problems. In the next class, we go for dice problems. Okay? So I stop here. Thank you so much.